So you just got this new D&D Starter Set, Dragons of Stormwreck Isle, and I gotta say, good move. It's a fun and short adventure that's great for new players and dungeon masters, as well as experienced D&D lovers, because it'll be really easy for you to run this as a mini campaign or plug it into an ongoing adventure, like maybe one of these other D&D box sets. Check out the video linked up in the corner and down in the description for a little guidance on which box is right for you. But in this video, I'm going to share my best tips for making this little starter set adventure. Dragons of Stormwreck Isle, one that your players will remember. Because I'm Bob, this is where we learn how to have more fun playing D&D together. And if you're not the person running this adventure, you're just playing it as one character, get out of here before you spoil the whole thing for yourself and send this video to your dungeon master instead. If you've been a DM for a while and you already have a group of players to run this with, please leave your best tip for all these new DMs, general or specific to this module, down in the comments while I briefly go over some important basics. For instance, if you don't have a group of players yet, start by asking some friends or family. That's how most people play in person, and if you don't think your friends or family would be into D&D, just ask if they'll play one game to try it out. Then if that doesn't work long term, go to roll20.net, create a new game, and follow the steps to set up a group online. And here's my best piece of general advice. This is not the game. These are not the game. D&D and every other role-playing game is really a conversation about imagined events where the outcomes of those events are sometimes determined by dice rolls. And as long as you're having fun, you're playing it correctly. Here's an example based on the first encounter in Dragons of Stormwreck Isle. Okay, the zombies start lurching towards you. What can I do? What do you want to do? I want to shoot him with a shotgun like in The Walking Dead. You don't have a shotgun, but I think you have a bow?
Yeah, can I throw my sword at him?
What do you want to throw your sword?
You know what? Yeah, I want to throw my sword.
Sure, okay, yeah, that's awesome. Is that from The Walking Dead too?
Oh, I don't know. I've actually never seen it.
Well, okay, roll the d20.
An 11?
Nice. Oh, and the zombie only needed an 8 to hit anyway, so
I throw my sword and I slice him in half.
Sure, awesome. Oh, wait, no. You have to roll for damage too.
Oh, dang. But yeah, that makes sense, I guess.
Roll a d6.
6? I slice it in half.
Well, no, it still has a bunch of hit points. But, you slice one of its arms clean off.
Yeah, woo! Just like in The Walking Dead.
That's what D&D is actually like, and while the rulebook and the pre-made character sheets from this box set do provide dozens or maybe hundreds of guidelines to help the DM decide what can and can't happen, whether or not a dice roll is necessary, or what number needs to be rolled, your players, new ones especially, will come up with wild stuff not covered in the rulebook. So try to be comfortable just making it up as you go, with the goal being to make it as fun as possible, but also challenging, so each success is actually a reward. Now you have a group or know how to find one, you understand the true concept behind D&D, and you need to read this book. Yeah, you thought you could just watch this video, but I strongly recommend actually reading the adventure you're going to run, even taking some notes. All that studying makes it way easier to improvise when you need to, and you will need to, but you'll be great. I know it. Anyway, if you've already read this book and you don't love the plot as written, I recommend checking out Matt Perkins' YouTube channel because he has an ongoing series about changing up this module to make it more fun, and he's just a cool guy. Now, let's talk about the actual adventure. In the most simple terms, here's the background leading up to your player's adventure on Stormwreck Isle. It's a vaguely medieval fantasy world. Dragons exist, and they're either evil and have a basic color, or good and have metallic colors. A long time ago, a powerful, evil red dragon was imprisoned beneath the ocean floor by 3 powerful, good metallic dragons. That its presence beneath the sea created this tiny volcanic island called Stormwreck Isle. Then 100 years ago, a powerful evil blue dragon came and tried to harness that power, but a powerful good bronze dragon killed it. That bronze dragon then took a vow of peace and created a tiny sanctuary on Stormwreck Isle called Dragon's Rest, and she uses magic to disguise herself as an old human woman. Then, people started coming to Dragon's Rest to learn about the history of dragons and to join the sanctuary. As a tangent, a few decades ago, a ship crashed on Stormwreck Isle. hence the name, and one of the sailors somewhat accidentally created a curse of undeath that produces zombies whenever ships crash here. And today, a siren-like monster called a harpy keeps luring in new ships, thus creating new zombies. But back to the main story, several months ago, a little evil blue dragon came to the island, making plans to harness the evil red dragon's ancient power. Okay, but one more tangent. That has stirred up this ancient power and formed fiery crystals in a cave where peaceful mushroom people live. And the crystals are now trapping in toxic fumes in the cave, making the mushroom people sick. And finally, a little good bronze dragon recently came to the island and tried to kill the little blue one only 5 days ago, but this little bronze dragon was defeated and imprisoned by the little blue one. Now here's where your party finally comes in. Your heroes arrive on Stormwreck Isle, they fight a few zombies, they meet the old human woman, and a few other people living at the Dragon's Rest Sanctuary. Mostly nice little reptile people called kobolds. These people ask your heroes to investigate the cave of mushroom people who have been acting weird lately, and investigate the shipwreck, where zombies seem to come from. After your heroes take care of those two tangents, aka side quests, the old human woman running the sanctuary reveals her true form as a dragon and tells your party all about that draconic history, and as a final mission, asks your adventurers to rescue the little bronze dragon and stop whatever the little evil blue dragon is planning to do before it's too late. Look at this outline. Little zombie fight, hang out at Dragon's Rest, save some mushroom people, or end the zombie curse. You're supposed to do both, but you can do them in either order. And by the end of it, face this little evil blue dragon. That's the whole adventure in Dragons of Stormwreck Isle. And for most of this video, we're going to break down each of those points chapter by chapter, walking through how they're supposed to flow, discussing which parts I think are awesome, and which parts may need some changes or could just use some changes to make them even more fun. But in your group's first game session together, you're going to start by making characters, or choosing from the pre-made character sheets included in the box, which I recommend if you and your players are new to D&D, because these will save you a ton of time. Making your own characters is really fun, but it's way more fun and just easier when you have a little background with how the game works. Plus, the info on these pre-made sheets will actually teach you many of the game's basic mechanics, and each one includes a personal goal connecting these pre-made characters to the plot of the adventure. If you use these sheets, you don't have to also use the goals, and some of them are very vague, but there's info in the adventure book about how to address them if the player wants to. Also, if you've made it this far and realize you want to pick up some more D&D dice for your players, you may as well get the coolest looking set of dice ever sold. You can get these limited edition Bob World Builder metallic dice. Remember, metallic means good, for 18% off using code BOB, and there's only like 300 and something sets left, so check them out before they're gone through the link below. It's a great way to support the channel. Chapter 1, Dragon's Rest, begins with a nice opening scene of read aloud text, and it prompts you to have the PCs introduce themselves to each other, which is a great opportunity for new players to visualize and share what their characters look like. It tells you to take note of the marching order or the positions of the party, but I don't think this is really necessary because everyone's just kind of packed into a little rowboat when, oh my gosh, 3 zombies attack. Always fun to start with some action, and this is a pretty straightforward, pretty well-balanced encounter. The official D&D YouTube channel actually has an entire video just about how to run this first encounter, mainly aimed at brand new DMs. So if you want a highly detailed, in-depth breakdown of how to fight a few zombies, I recommend checking that out. But basically, you have more read-aloud text saying that these zombies are about 30 feet away and lurching toward the party. It tells you that the player characters can choose, as always, to fight the zombies or flee, with bullet points on how to run this combat encounter, a reminder that the zombies have a cool ability allowing them to sometimes get back up after they're knocked out, and a suggestion on how the old woman who runs the sanctuary can come to the party's aid if necessary. And that may be necessary. I ran this encounter with 3 experienced players, and luckily we decided to use the 1D&D rule where the DM could not roll critical hits, because I rolled at least 1 during the fight and definitely would have killed at least one of these level 1 characters right off the bat. So my recommendations are to 1. Rather than always using 3 zombies as written, use 1 fewer zombie than the number of PCs in your party. 2. Consider not letting the DM roll critical hits until the PCs reach level 3, or 3. Include 1 or more of the pre-generated characters as sidekicks to make sure you have at least 4 party members for this first encounter. But if you only have one player, using 3 sidekicks would be unnecessarily complicated, so then rely on the other recommendations. And one other fun idea for this encounter, totally not a thing in D&D, but you could have a zombie try to bite a character, and if they do, the character needs to be rushed to the sanctuary temple and healed, lest they turn into a zombie. Again, that is totally not how zombies are supposed to work in D&D, but brand new players might expect it, because that is how zombies work in pretty much every other fictional universe with zombies. Then there's some more read-aloud text for the party when they meet a bunch of kobolds from the sanctuary and the old human woman, Runara, who thanks her characters for facing the zombies and welcomes them to Dragon's Rest. During this introduction, I focused on role-playing Runara and only one of the 9 kobolds named in the book, specifically Blep, with the ordinary dagger that he claims is magical, because I found both his name and the dagger bit to be pretty funny. But I kept the kobold part quick, and had Runara just encourage the party to freely explore the rooms of the sanctuary, which they call the cloister. That way the party got to meet the other humans more naturally, like Tarek, the middle-aged human ex-con turned herbalist guy who was making food and potions in the kitchen. And right away, I was able to drop his quest hook about the mushroom caves. My party also explored the library to research the island's history and checked out the Temple of Bahamut. Fortunately, one of my PCs played a chef druid and another played an ex-con who wanted to become a paladin of Bahamut, so we had some fantastic tie-ins with the lore and NPCs of this location. Particularly when the cloister runs these big family-style dinners each night as the perfect time and place for some casual roleplay conversations and introducing quest hooks. For example, at dinner on my party's first day, they met the other human NPC, Varnoth, the older ex-mercenary general turned stonemason who wants them to check out the shipwreck where the zombies come from. This first chapter also includes a few side quest ideas, such as having more zombies attack, facing hostile draconic elementals at a hot spring, facing a once tamed hostile owlbear, and meeting a handful of bandit-like kobolds. But since the main quests already have the party facing zombies, facing draconic elementals, and the bandit-like kobolds, I only used the one with the owlbear, and not until they were level 2. Arguably, I made this owlbear encounter less interesting than what's in the book by scratching the part about it wearing a collar and having a whistle, because as soon as the chef player character in my party learned there was an owlbear on the island, they wanted to cook it. So I wanted to frame it as a genuine monster rather than a potential pet. And the book specifically says the owlbear won't leave the forest, even if your party uses the whistle to make it friendly or whatever. So overall, I didn't want to give the false impression that the party might be able to keep this cool thing as a pet. But if you want your party to have an owlbear companion, just make it an owlbear cub so it's less powerful. And keep in mind, after your party first explores the Dragon's Rest cloister, they might choose to randomly explore the island. Or they may choose to go to the shipwreck first, or they may choose to go to the mushroom caves first. It's really up to them, but you need to encourage them to decide on a path at the end of your first session. So then you will know which part of the book you need to prepare for your next session. For the sake of this video, we're just going to follow the order of the book. Chapter 2, Seagrow Caves, was kind of the low point of this adventure in my opinion. Not bad, but it needed the most work. To start, the quest hook from Tarek, technically in Chapter 1, is fine. He tells the party about his mushroom friends, the myconids, who live in the island's caves, and how he trades them food scraps for the heartcap mushrooms, which he brews into potions of healing. But recently, the myconids have installed a fearsome guardian at their caves, a fungus-covered octopus monster that has turned him away on his latest visits, and he is worried. Tarek also warns the party that they'll probably need to fight the octopus thing, and he gives the party a sack of rotting food scraps as a gift for the myconids. Unfortunately, I forgot this detail in my playthrough, but I wish I remembered it because a sack of rotting food scraps is exactly the kind of random item that you know the party will come up with some hilarious use for, so write that part down. There's also info about different routes your party can take to travel to the cave and the changing of the tides within the cave. But I ignored that stuff because the map only shows the cave at low tide. Okay, if you remember, the background of this Mushroom Cave quest is that the latent power of the long ago imprisoned evil red dragon has recently caused the growth of big fiery crystals which now block a natural vent in the cave, trapping toxic volcanic fumes inside and causing 3 more problems. 1. Near the crystal itself, the evil power and fumes have generated a few draconic elementals. 2. It turned some regular mushrooms in the myconid's garden into evil violet fungi. And 3. The myconids themselves are getting sick, and their leader is absorbing as much of this sickness as possible, but it's killing them. So they created this fungal octopus monster to protect the other myconids from outside threats. Importantly, the myconids cannot leave the cave or destroy the crystal themselves because they are sensitive to sunlight, and the crystal still allows light to come in through that blocked vent, so they can't even do anything about it. All in all, this is a very well-designed conflict and location. My problem is that I think there are way too many bad guys for such a small dungeon. Here are my recommendations. 1. Keep the Octopus Guardian in Area B1, but instead of giving it that one big attack against your level 1 PCs, give it 4 tiny attacks each round so it can use more of its tentacles. That's part of what makes this octopus a unique enemy. With this change, each tentacle slap has only +3 to hit, reach 15 feet, and does just 1d4 points of bludgeoning damage, maybe with a recharge ability to automatically grapple and dunk a target on a hit. And if you're not familiar with recharge abilities, check out the Dragon's Breath weapon and you'll figure it out. Just be sure to spread those extra attacks onto as many of the PCs as possible, because using multiple attacks on a single PC would be more damaging than using one tentacle attack as written. 2. Scrap the violet fungi from Area B2. There's supposed to be 3, and I only used 2, but I still regretted it. This battle comes immediately after fighting the octopus. It doesn't make sense why the violet fungi aren't fighting the myconids in there already, and it's confusing for the players. Whoa, aren't we supposed to be helping these mushroom people? These mushrooms are trying to kill us. So it's less fun than the octopus part and just kind of counterintuitive to the mission. So instead, just let your party see that some of this mushroom garden has been tainted and meet the little myconids in here, communicating with them through their awesome telepathic spores to learn about the sickness spreading in the caves. And be sure to read the excellent descriptive text here, focusing on that sulfuric smell as a hint of what's going on with the volcanic fumes. 3. Maybe scrap the blood-sucking sturges in Area B3. I do love the idea of sturges living peacefully among myconids because the myconids don't have blood, but your party just fought that octopus and they're about to go fight these draconic elementals. Well, first, they should witness the myconids melding in Area B4 and meet their dying leader in B5. There, my Paladin PC just use a few points of lay on hands to remove the disease and thus heal them immediately. So then I just had the leader explain the Octopus Guardian and tell them about the crystal blocking smoke in Area B6. Then they went in, fought the elementals, aka fume drakes, and readily smashed the crystal to release that smoke. Basically, that's the end of the mission. And then the leader gives your party a special mushroom that Tarek can turn into an elixir of health. However, when my party smashed the crystal, rather than having that obsidian egg automatically fall out and break, releasing yet another monster as written, I gave one PC a dexterity save to catch it, and they did. So my party had this weird item, and strangely, they never ended up doing anything with it, but since they leveled up right after this mission, the PC who carried it around would occasionally joke that this mysterious obsidian orb made them more powerful, and specifically, gave them stronger bones. And that just became a fun inside joke in our campaign. After this, your party should return to the sanctuary for a big dinner, tell the tale of their adventure, and learn, if they haven't already, about the Cursed Shipwreck of the Compass Rose. As written, Varnoth can tell them that several ships have recently crashed on the rocks north of Dragon's Rest, and Runara adds that an older wreck, the Compass Rose, might hold the answer. And let me tell you, Chapter 3, The Cursed Shipwreck, was probably my favorite quest in this adventure. Here's the detailed background. 40 years ago, the Compass Rose wrecked on Stormwreck Isle. I don't know if it already had that ironic name, but basically all of the crew died in the accident or were drowning when one of them, a sailor named Aletha, prayed to Orcus, the demon prince of undeath, to reunite her with her husband Brastos, who was living at the Dragon's Rest cloister. The ship's captain witnessed this prayer and was immediately attacked by Aletha as her prayer was sort of answered and she turned into a zombie and bit him. But he grabbed her evil talisman, managed to record these events in his log, and seal them both in a watertight wrap, currently locked in a chest that your party can find while exploring the ship. Unfortunately, Aletha's husband Brastos died like a decade later, but the curse remained. And recently, a harpy started living in the crow's nest of the Compass Rose, so every time it uses its song to lure in more ships to the rocks, the sailors die, and they are turned into zombies. Another awesome story and location, and I think this one is executed very well. My party even went through this ship dungeon backwards, and it went perfectly. Here's what happened. They approached the ship on their little rowboat. No enemies in sight because the zombies are all below deck, and as written, the harpy isn't around when the party first shows up. And somebody used detect magic while they were approaching the gaping hole at the rear of the ship, so right away they saw the magical aura of the chest underwater because it contains a set of magic boots. Then the paladin used divine sense on the chest and detected the demonic talisman inside, so my party immediately knew this chest is important. They went to retrieve it, spotted one super slow zombie underwater below deck, opened the chest, grabbed the stuff, and returned to their rowboat to read the journal. It was a very efficient play. But by retrieving the chest, they triggered the harpy's return, so it attacked and tried to grab one of the PCs so it could fly up and drop them from a great height. But that didn't work out, and the harpy was killed. Then, my party basically took their time exploring the ship, and you could have a second harpy show up, especially since they're supposed to be level 2 here, but I didn't want to just repeat the same battle, so they just dealt with the zombies, fought the ghoul, and looted everything. The harpy's nest, the crates, the secret compartment in Area C6, and even stole the compass set into the captain's desk. Finally, they brought the talisman to Runara and explained what they found. She told them about Brastos' grave near the sanctuary and suggested they bring it there. So they gathered everyone for a nice ceremony, the curse was lifted, Bahamut blessed the party, they all leveled up, and everyone enjoyed some owlbear steaks. Yeah, they had fought the owlbear on their way back from the wreck. So while I'm sure I could find something worth changing, this chapter is definitely fun as is, but if you've already run this part, tell us in the comments below if you made any fun changes to it or wish you made any changes to it. Now by this point, your party has proven their strength and determination to Runara, the old woman who leads the cloister, and she decides it's time for the truth. The box text for this part is in Chapter 1 under Lost Wormling, and essentially, she reveals her true form as a powerful bronze dragon and briefly explains the history of the island as well as the recent events of the little evil blue dragon named Sparkrender coming to the island and the little good bronze dragon, Adron, going to fight him, but not returning since. Then she gives your party a moonstone key and asks them to investigate Sparkrender's base at the old observatory, stop whatever evil plan he's cooking up, and rescue Adron, assuming he's still alive. Spoiler alert, he is. One other thing that you might want to seed earlier on, Mila, the winged tinkerer kobold at Dragon's Rest, knows her two brothers are serving Sparkrender at the observatory. Since my party had developed a friendship with her and wanted her to upgrade their gear, Mila asked them to check on her brothers, but she specifically said not to go to the observatory until Runara tells them about the dangers there. So it's a little tricky, but you'll see in a second how it could be very helpful. Chapter 4, Clifftop Observatory. Have your party approach by land, because that mode of travel includes a cooler scene of box text where they get to see Sparkrender flying high overhead and glassy marks on the ground where he previously used his lightning breath. Then, when they get to this area, you probably don't want to show your party the map right away. Here's why. Right there, in Area D5 is the secret staircase to the tower interior where Adron is imprisoned, and it's 100% visible even on the so-called player map on D&D Beyond. I was quite annoyed to see this because like 3.5 years ago when I made my first YouTube series about the Dragon of Icefire Peak module from the D&D Essential Skit, one of my biggest complaints was how these so-called player maps always showed every secret room, if not also the secret doors. Therefore, you could not show your players the player maps. And less of a problem, but still a little annoying, is how this map instantly gives away the fact that the party can activate cool magical bridges using the Moonstone Key, rather than letting them discover it on their own. So I didn't reveal this map until after they activated the first bridge, and even then, I had some fog of war because we were using a VTT over areas D5 and D6. But for you, I made a somewhat hastily edited version of this player map to actually hide the secret staircase between D5 and D6 and posted it on Reddit, linked below. Now, when your party crosses the first bridge to area D2, they'll notice a cool sculpture in the center and 2 winged kobolds getting attacked by 8 sturges. This seems pretty serious, but it was incredibly easy for my level 3 party to take them out. Then my party talked with these 2 winged kobolds, found out that they were, in fact, Mila's brothers, and learned a little about Sparkrender's plan. Mainly, that he's going to become super powerful and take over the island. However, I played these kobolds as neutral and naive, as if they were all just so super excited about preparing for Sparkrender's ritual that they never really stopped to think about all the death and destruction he's going to cause afterward. So, using solid roleplay, talking about Mila and all the other kobolds at risk, and smart use of charisma-based spells and features, and a couple of very high dice rolls, my party convinced all of the kobolds at the observatory to leave and go to the Dragon's Rest Sanctuary. My party also found the journal in area D4, but they didn't try to open it without the key, so they never got the clue about opening the secret stairway. Instead, they learned about Adron's prison from the kobolds and just tried to dig their way in. This whole time, mind you, Sparkrender is written to be sleeping up in area D5. But please, take my word for it, do not have Sparkrender be asleep when your party arrives. He can just be chilling up there, doing his own thing. He could be totally aware or totally unaware that the party is present, but he's gotta be awake. If he's not, you run the risk of your party just sneaking up there and surprise round, insta-kill, one-shotting this dragon, which is supposed to be the climactic battle of the adventure. That's exactly what happened at the end of my Essentials Kit campaign 3.5 years ago, and this time, I did not learn from my mistake, and I still followed the book and had Sparkrender being asleep up there, but thankfully, my party failed their stealth check to creep down to area D6. So the dragon woke up, yelled at them. They tried to lie about why they were there, but the paladin literally had armor and a shield emblazoned with the symbol of Bahamut, so Sparkrender didn't buy it, and he attacked them. But this little blue dragon is weak. Too weak. 3 PCs took him down in 3 rounds. I had 4 PCs in the battle, but one was actually busy unchaining Adron, which was pretty cool because it made the final moments of the battle really epic as Adron flew out from the prison mounted by that PC, while another one was like hanging from the chains. So I'm saying this wormling blue dragon only has about 50 hit points, and Sparkrender is written to flee at 10 hit points, meaning your level 3 characters probably only need about 5 total hits to defeat him, which probably only takes about 2 rounds of combat, and is not very climactic. I considered using the young blue dragon stat block instead of the wormling because the young one has much more hit points, but it also does way more damage. If I were to do it again with those experienced players, I'd probably go with the young blue dragon, especially if I had the idea that Adron was going to fight alongside them, but maybe not if Sparkrender still had the kobolds fighting alongside him. Overall, you might want to do some on-the-fly adjustments for this dragon fight, but just focus on using and recharging his breath weapon, keeping him in the air, flying away from melee player characters, and maybe trying to grab your characters and throw them off the tower. Also, the lines of dialogue for Sparkrender to say during the fight are awesome. Use them. After the fight, your party can get a lot of treasure here, and as you can tell by my overview thus far, you probably don't have to worry about Sparkrender's ritual. That's only written to happen if your party leaves without killing him and comes back. Alternatively, you could have the ritual going on as your party arrives at the observatory for the first time, but I think that could be a little too sudden, launching them right into this climactic battle with stone dragon effigies and different color lights swirling around and Adron having his life force sucked out of him. However your party handles Sparkrender, they return to the cloister, Runara gives them potions and pearls, and if your group wants to continue playing with these characters, you can kinda segue into one of the other box sets because they both go to level 5. And Stormwreck Isle is right off the coast of Neverwinter, pretty close to the town of Phandalin where these other adventures take place. Personally, I would have to recommend the Essentials Kit because it's much more sandboxy and more flexible than Lost Mine of Phandelver in the original starter set, so it would be easier to combine with Stormwreck Isle. And I already have a video series breaking down every single Essentials Kit quest in detail with illustrated gameplay sessions linked right here on your screen. So if you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up, leave a comment about your plans or experience running this adventure, and consider subscribing, getting these cool dice, or joining my Patreon as other great ways to support me and this community. So thank you, and keep building.